like to call this meeting to order. Would you please stand with me and we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. First item on our agenda is our weekly commission reports. And so I'll turn to Commissioner Moore at this time and see if she has some activities.
I do. I'm excited. Tomorrow I'm going to attend the Brighton Lives luncheon in Olympia. It's for the Thurston Mason Lewis Meals on Wheels. And so I'm excited to do that. That's a group I support every year. And then I have a Mason Transit Authority Executive Board meeting tomorrow. On Thursday, I have a Moving Mason Forward meeting at on Thursday, excuse me. On Friday, I have a Peninsula Regional Transportation Planning Organization meeting. On Saturday, I will be participating in the Shelton Spring Cleanup that is sponsored by Skookum Rotary and the Downtown Merchants Association and Shelton to the Top. So that should be a fun event. We're going to spruce up Shelton and demonstrate love for Shelton in a practical way. And that is my week.
Thank you very much. Commissioner McDowell.
Tuesday, I'm going to be attending the Business Watch Academy at 5:30, and Thursday, I have my chamber lunch at the PUD at 11:30, and my briefing with Ryan at 1, and hopefully I'll make it to the Shelton Spring Cleanup on Saturday. That's my week.
All right. Tomorrow, I will be meeting with the Heidi from the Chamber to talk about Forest Festival, activities and other things that we are coordinated with the Chamber to do. In the afternoon, I will be going with our Parks and Rec Director, Mark Ziegler, and we're going to go to a Bordeaux school. We're going to talk to some young people about a request they made in to us to want to do something for the city. And so Mark and I are going to go up there and talk to them, encourage them on the activities that they want to do. That will be tomorrow. Wednesday, I will be attending my Criminal Justice Board meeting, and then Thursday, I will be at the Chamber lunch. That completes our weekly commission reports. Next is general public comment, and we have written in here on all of the little rules and all those things that we're going to follow on those. We have a 3-minute time limit. We are polite. We will allow people to do their sentences, complete them, but please, if you prepare beforehand, then it just runs to the 3 minutes and it's a lot easier. Then we don't have to, go through, you got to go and not talk anymore. So that's open right now. Do we have anybody signed in?
No, we do not.
Okay. After all that speech, I don't got nobody signed in. Oh, man. All right, that's fine. So the next is our consent agenda, and are my fellow commissioners ready to hear and to hopefully approve the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, could we have a reading of that?
Consent agenda, voucher number 14426 in the amount of $7,086.53. Vouchers numbered 14430 through 14520 in the amount of $1,223,473.15.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes. We have a couple of items on the action agenda, and as we're going through these, if someone from the public would like to speak concerning the information in the item, then we will have a public comment period on both of those if somebody would like to talk about that. So the first one is I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Craig Gregory, our Public Works Director, and he's going to talk to us about the Franklin Street reconfiguration project.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. As we talked about last week, we are proposing to change Franklin Street from 5th to 7th back to two-way traffic, as opposed to the one-way traffic that it is now, with two bus-only lanes and one lane in the eastbound direction. So we would move it back to a single lane for the bus-only and a single lane in each direction, east and westbound. So if you have any additional questions for me, I would love to answer those for you at this time.
I do. So on the budget on this $7,000, boy, that's a big savings from the $36,000. That's pretty cool. And again, I am 100% for this. When they had planned it before, I was kind of going, I don't know about this, but I know if I'm driving in front of Safeway and I'm going east, I'm in the right-hand lane, and then 10 feet before the stop sign, I kind of got to turn over, and, it just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. So I am for doing this. My question is about the budget. So do we have that money in our budget? Where's that money going to come from?
It will have to come out of the general street budget.
Okay.
And at this point, with what we have planned for the general street budget, we can absorb that cost at this point to get that taken care of.
Okay, that was the only questions I had.
I have a question. So the original cost was $36,000, right?
That was for the original reconfiguration when we went to one-way traffic, and that was some ADA ramps, a sidewalk,
Okay.
a portion of the sidewalk that got replaced, and also the paving that went back about 150 feet or so.
Right. And so now the new estimated is 7,000-ish.
And that is, the majority of that will be to just do the striping and the hydro stripping of the old striping off
Okay.
is the majority of the cost.
All right.
The rest of it will just be the asphalt for taking that small bump out at 5th and repaving that.
Okay, very good.
My question is, I know that we're planning to redo Franklin Street, hopefully soon anyway, the stream overlay, is that what we call that, where will that still need to be done? The creeks, there was a downtown.
The Downtown Creeks project
Yeah.
that we gave back?
Yeah, is that something that will still need to be done in the near future?
That is something that if it becomes a priority again for the city, we will have to look at funding options, whether that be a grant or it's funded out of the stormwater department.
Mm-hmm.
That will be something that we will have to look at if we get direction from the three of you to look at that Downtown Creeks project again.
Okay, so we may be looking at, hopefully in the near future, some other project on that street as well.
There's the potential for that if we decide to do Downtown Creeks, yes.
Okay. I was, last week after we discussed the striping or the painting on the crosswalks on the numbered sides of Railroad, I was wondering if this project was really necessary and we could take this money and put it towards the painting of the crosswalks. But I'm given to understand that this truly is a safety issue as far as the returning Franklin Street to two-way traffic.
We would not be bringing this forward to you if we didn't feel that it was a safety concern at this point. And the fact that the general motorist population and also the general pedestrian movements down there have just lost all respect for that roadway section.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hoping that turning it back to two-way traffic will give us back an actual roadway down there instead of what feels like an alley that you can just park in and get out and move about however you would like to.
Okay, I think that, given that it is a safety issue, I'm very much in favor of this. I just would like to make sure that our citizens know that it is a safety issue and it's not just that we can't decide what we want there. So it makes sense to me. I think there is a lot of confusion down there as far as especially turning out of Safeway onto Franklin. It's kind of odd when you have traffic coming in front of the traffic that's pulling out. So, okay, I'm good with this.
Sure.
Okay, this is an action item, and so we are open to have public comment. Do we have somebody that signed in for this?
We do, Mr. Forrest Cooper.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Commission. Forrest Cooper, 409 West Railroad and 807 South 14th. I'd just like to offer my support for this changeover to Franklin Street. As you probably remember, I was pretty critical when it was turned over to a one-way originally, and my concerns were verified throughout having it actually in place. There are a couple issues. I think changing the intersection back to the intersection that's at Franklin and 5th Street back to two-way is going to be really good. That's going to give that consistency back to our downtown, so we have two streets that are running with no stop signs this way. I think that's going to be really good. I had a client who was actually T-boned in that intersection, and it was awful to see exactly what she went through. It was pretty dangerous, and she got hit by a bus, so it was a tough thing. Anyways, I do have two pieces that I would like to suggest. One of them is consider making a wider crosswalk or a crossing path. Look in the manual on uniform traffic control devices and see if there's a way to possibly create more of a crosswalk area rather than just a narrow crosswalk. Also, the crosswalk that's there right now, I think it's underutilized on rainy days because when it rains, it turns into a giant puddle. So you can't even really get over to the rapid flasher that's currently there. I know those are going to be moved. But just take a look at the street surface there and some of the puddling, and I would suggest a wider crosswalk. Otherwise, I am in complete support of changing that back to a two-way road. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, so at this point, staff is asking that we actually agree to this. It looks like to me, I'm trying to see if there's any other wording. We concur that it's a good idea. Does that satisfy? And we're going to place it on an action agenda. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Let me read my other paper. I got it. I can do it. Are you beeping me for a reason? Oh, you're.
Time's up, Gary.
My time's up? Oh, shoot, that's cool. Okay, so let me go on. Oh, no, we need a motion. That's what we need. Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, are you ready for a motion? Okay, that's
Yep.
where we are. Wrong paper, okay.
I move that we approve the Franklin Street reconfiguration project.
Okay, is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. All right, item number 2 here is the public defender contract, and that will be presented to us by our Assistant City Manager, Vicki Look.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I presented this contract last week and mentioned that we had went out for a request for proposals, and Sean Tashner and his firm put in their bid for a full-time contract to take all of the cases, and the city recommended that we award the contract to them. And as we also mentioned, or I did last week, that we do receive grant funding from the state that helps us provide these services to our indigent services for those in need. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any other questions?
I have no questions.
This is also an action item, and so we have that same offer to anybody from the public that would like to speak, 3-minute time limit. And seeing nobody rushing forward and signing up for that, I think this is the right thing to do. I wrote okay on it, and so this would be another, I'm looking here to see, we need a motion, so would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the public defender contract for Tashner and Associates, PCP LLC.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That concludes our action agenda items. We are now moving into the business agenda, and that will be another Financial Services Guild Agreement presentation by our Assistant City Manager, Vicki Look.
Yes, we had discussed earlier, or I should say late in 2016, that we had contracts that were coming up for renegotiation for the year 2017. Our financial services group then petitioned to the Public Employment Relations Commission, we call it PERC, and asked for a change of representation. Based on that application and the consideration period for PERC to make their decision, we were kind of left on hold for quite a period of time where they considered that, and at the end they did approve the request for representation, and now the guild is formed and they do represent themselves. Once that was approved, the city started negotiating a contract. We asked for a one-year contract to complete the year 2017 due to our medical changing, and we have to choose and review our options for 2018 and out. So we started negotiating, and we just have reached a tentative agreement, which is in line with what the commission approved us, authorized us to negotiate with them, which was a 3% increase in salary and also an increase in medical, the city's share of medical expenses. So that went up to $14.25, and 3% is what they have accepted, and we offered them a $500 signing bonus, but which has been budgeted within that 3%. That was, we had budgeted as of January, so the $500 is covered with the amount that we had budgeted as well. So we're asking for the commission to move it forward, as there's no real other substantial changes at this time. So if you have any questions, I can answer those for you.
Question?
Okay, I have no questions. Thank you.
I have a question. So it appears on my notes here that, are you saying that at this point we could make a motion rather than deferring this to the action agenda next week?
Well, you could.
If we
It's
choose
the
to.
commission's decision.
That's our option, isn't it?
Yes,
Well,
it
we've been
is.
talking about this for a long time, and I didn't see any scarecrows in the paperwork or whatever. So if my fellow commissioners believe that it would be prudent for us to act on this now, seeing as how you want this to go by the end of May, and gives you a little time, so I'd be more than happy to entertain a motion to approve this tonight. Do we need public comment if we do that?
Well, we could certainly take it now if anyone.
If anybody would
would
like to talk about this issue, we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to say things at these transparent, open, public meetings. So, but not seeing anybody stepping forward, what do my fellow commissioners think about voting on this tonight, rather than deferring it to the action agenda at our next meeting?
I would be happy to make a motion to that effect. I move that that we ratify the agreement with the Public Employee Relations Commission immediately rather than waiting for our typical time frame. No.
The correction would be that we're ratifying agreement with the Shelton Financial Workers Guild.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like she said.
Okay,
Yeah.
I move that we would ratify the agreement with the Shelton, where do I see that? Shelton Financial Workers Guild immediately rather than waiting for our typical time frame of 3 weeks out.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Yes, I would like to add something at this time. As being a novice at the Robert's Rules of Order procedures, I know that I can talk at this time. And I just want to say that Vicki Look has been doing these union negotiations for us for the past like 30 years or 20 years or something. A long time, very long time. And she's done an unbelievably excellent job going in there and fighting the battle for the city. And so I wanted to thank you for your hard work for the city and doing this task. And I know it's a lot of work because I've been knocking on your door and you've been hidden away somewhere in a cave. So anyway, I know that you put a lot of time in this. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. The motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
You
Thank
might want to
you
clarify
very
the number of
much.
years.
Yeah, it was 20, 10, 15?
I'll take 30.
Did you have another question on that? Vic,
I
you?
do not have another question.
Okay.
Thank you so much for moving
All
it
right.
along.
Thank you very much. Item number 2 under the business agenda is, it's a special application, and that's going to be presented to us by our communications officer, Andy Arns, and this is concerning a AABC Pee Wee World Series baseball.
Yes, thank you, Mayors and Commissioners. On April 27th, the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee held a special meeting to consider an allocation request from the American Amateur Baseball Congress for a request of $50,000 for funds to help pay for a $150,000 tournament fee to host the Pee Wee Reese World Series. That's a series that's a nationally recognized 12 and under tournament that features 24 teams, approximately 408 players from the U.S. and Canada. It's scheduled to take place on July 31st through August 8th, and their estimated number of attendees is anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people. The original request was for $50,000. After consideration, excuse me, and review, the LTAC committee recommended that a $30,000 allocation be made. Just as an update, the current lodging tax fund balance currently stands at $112,679. And the first quarter revenue estimates for 2017 right now are $13,525.56. Additionally, in consideration of the special timeline review that took place, and also that the funds are requested to be paid in advance, staff is recommending that there be 2 provisions added to the standard allocation agreement. That's under Section 2, which will be items E and F. Item E speaks to the establishment of a steering committee, which will be basically oversee the planning, operations, and fundraising of the event. The section item F is for a bi-monthly reporting requirement. Excuse me. That basically says that they need to come and report to us on. We actually established dates, which will be June 10th, June 25th, and July 15th. Their fundraising efforts and the amounts that they have so far. Also, Section 5, which is the disbursement section of the agreement, that has been reworded to make that the disbursement contingent on the fulfillment of all the responsibilities in Section 2, and that there would be a repayment clause if any of those responsibilities are unmet. So with that, yeah, we're requesting that this be placed on the action agenda for next week.
Questions or comments?
I'm reading through this, I was really intrigued by the proposal and by the estimated income that could be generated by this event and has been generated in other areas. So I'm really happy about this. I think that the $30,000, if we can agree to give that, would go far, hopefully, into making this a successful event. And I'm hopeful that in the future we are able to have a little more time to increase our housing options for people staying here. So I think it's a good thing.
Any other questions or
No.
comments? Well, as being one in here, I was a tie-breaking vote on this one because it takes, we have a great board on the tourist fund, and these opportunities don't come every day, and so this has the potential of being a big deal. And we don't like to give that money up real easy. And again, they requested 50. We came and decided on 30, and that the deal, how it can really be a big deal, is if the citizens and the city, to the best of our ability, gets behind this, because this has the potential and even probability of being a yearly event for Shelton and Mason County. And I was really excited about it because it gives young people another opportunity to be involved with sports activities and things like that. And so, I'm behind it 100%, and from my own personal life, I will try to do, and as being mayor, try to do everything I can to encourage and whatever the city can do just to really make this first year the best that we can. And I do know that we need more rooms in this town to house these kinds of things in the future. But I am for it. It appears we are all for it. So it appears that we concur to place this on the action agenda for May 22nd, 2017. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have any administration reports?
Not at this time.
Okay. And so our next meeting,
Can I-
any final touches? We used to
Two things really,
Oh,
sorry.
yes.
We should probably combine those things
I
Yeah.
think that would be kind of good. We get in the habit of just doing the same thing.
next
but-
week.
Okay.
So two quick things. We follow up on your commission questions about the permit fees. So we're going to schedule a study session at our regular time on May 30th. We'll focus on that then. We'll bring some information to you. And then the other thing is that I wanted to give you a heads up. It's not on the looking ahead, but next week the YMCA president and CEO South Sound YMCA president and CEO will be here to provide a brief update on where they are, explain what their fundraising project looks like, and then also make a request from the commission.
Thank you very much. Our next meeting will be May 22nd, 2017 at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And at this time, I would like to adjourn this meeting.